So, something I've always wanted to have in my truck is some kind of storage, a drawer system of some sort. Owning a truck, or at least like an older truck, your only storage is the bed, but I wanted something that's more hidden, a little more secure, and something that's semi easy to access. And for it to double as something for camping would be really lovely too. So I basically just started with making some measurements around the bed. Want to utilize about half the bed for the storage and the other half to be still like open bed if I need that room. So just measuring the height, measuring how long the actual thing would be, drawing it out, making sure everything looks good, and really taking my time here. Once the measurements were done, I headed over to Lowe's to grab a 4x8 sheet of wood, and something I quickly learned was utilizing their services to cut the giant pieces because I just don't have those tools at home. And their stuff is gonna definitely make a much cleaner cut than if I were to try to cut this giant piece of wood with just a circular saw on my own and no way to really support that big of a piece of wood. First and foremost, we got to build the base of our drawer system, and I realized I asked Lowe's to cut it a little bit longer than I actually need the board to be, so I had to cut a couple inches off the bottom of it, or the top, however you look at it. And my system to try to make a clean cut was to use this drywall ruler and just these clamps to hold down that ruler to keep it straight. But of course, the clamps failed and the ruler kind of shifted off, and so I just had to freehand the rest of it. And I had to fix one of the clamps. The reason it failed was because the nut that holds that foot, or whatever you call it, just fell off. So, yeah, that's sick. I used that cut off piece of wood to space the bottom from the back of the truck. And I started to cut out this template. I needed it to go around the wheel well, so the base could go as far to the right as possible, and try to really maximize and utilize that space. So, a little bit of cardboard engineering, and I think it went pretty smooth. Once the outline was transferred over to the base of the drawer, I started to cut it out with this jigsaw, but I was kind of having a little bit of trouble with it. You could see that the board is jumping around, and especially when I get to the corners and where I'm twisting the jigsaw, it was just kind of binding for me. I don't know if that's an error on my end. If you're a master at wood, please let me know, because this is not my field. But yeah, got that cut out, and then I started to work on the actual sides of the drawer. So once again, I had to cut off a bit of the length just to match now the new length of the base. So went ahead and started that.
Pencil, I gotta use my pencil.
Okay, so now this part I was really excited for because I bought this tool that I'm using here, and it's a pocket hole jig. And previously, I honestly didn't even know something like this existed, but it makes these little pocket holes, and you can just screw them directly into the wood. So on the outside of your box or whatever you're building, you can't see the screws. And it's just a lot cleaner and a lot more secure. Same as the left wall of this drawer, I had to cut off a piece of the right wall, but this time I actually had a scrap piece of wood in front, so the drywall ruler head wouldn't bother it, and that worked really, really well for me. So, got that cut and started screwing in the pocket holes for that side. Oh my god, what a mess. A couple days passed, and the drawer slides that I ordered for this project came in, and man, these guys are super, super heavy, which makes sense because they're rated for 500 pounds. Hopefully, I never get that heavy. Like I was saying earlier about Lowe's, very, very nice to utilize their services to pre-cut the wood because, as you can see here, I really had to work with what I had. like, yeah, just using some weights to kind of counterbalance it. I'm drawing out the actual drawer bottom to use, and I had to stack a couple more weights to make sure it didn't shake as much, so stacked those weights up and made my first initial cut. Had to drag over this little bench here to make it even more stable, and then I could finally continue to cut after that. Everything had gone relatively smooth so far, but when I fully assembled everything, I had a realization that I made a mistake where I didn't account for the bottom of the drawer and the top of the bottom of the drawer box to be rubbing against each other when they slide. So the drawer ended up jamming and binding like that. So I had to take care of that and swap that to something smaller, which I ended up doing off camera. But man, I was getting really defeated by this project. I bought this Makita rip fence, which of course did not fit the Makita circular saw I had. So I just said screw it and decided I'm just going to freehand and start cutting without any of that. Whatever, bro, I'm just freehanding it.
Whatever, I don't even care anymore. I don't even care.
And the reason I'm marking and cutting up the tops of this drawer is I realized I made them just a little bit too tall. So if I were to put the top of the drawer box, the top of the actual drawer would be hitting it and it'd be bowing. So I had to cut literally like a 1/4 inch off of the top just to make sure that it would clear the top of the box.
Oh my god, that was so stupid. Oh, that was so stupid.
Dude, this project has been kicking my ass, man. If you work with wood, I have so much respect for you, cause like, dude, this is hard. Like it really is an art form. It's one thing to just screw things together, but to actually make them all level and even and clean. Yeah, you gotta. It takes a lot of work to really be precise and even. I've had a few mistakes, obviously, like the screws going through, and I had to swap this for a 1/2 inch instead of a 3/4 because it was dragging on the ground. I had to like cut these down a 1/4 inch, but now it's all good. But of course, more problems, and this one kind of really sucks. The drawer slides seem to have jammed up, and I bet you it's because I was cutting it sideways and just got a bunch of sawdust in them, and now they're like really rough and bad. So we'll see. I'm gonna disassemble it, but I may have to buy new slides, which really sucks. But before I disassemble it, I'm just gonna cut kind of like the rest of the pieces I need. So like the front of the drawers, the top of the drawer, and just have those ready. So when the new drawer slides come in, I can just zip those slides in, zip the rest of the pieces together, and should be at the next step of assembly. I guess next step is I'm just gonna cut those pieces. Probably if it's a little disassembled, take the time to sand some of those pocket holes, because I never did that. So there's just a bunch of like splintered wood near the pocket holes, which is really ugly. Yeah, like right here, it just takes so much effort to try to push it back. Right here it gets jammed. Yeah, so. Woo! The drawer slides that I bought also have a locking mechanism on them, but the thing is that the locking mechanism sticks out a little bit further than where the drawer slides end. So in order for it to fully like seal the front of the drawer, you gotta have this little notch cut out for the actual little mechanism. So I went ahead and I tried to use like an oscillating tool to cut it out, which really wasn't that good of an idea.
Good concept, terrible execution.
Some more time had passed, and I finally decided that it was time to seal the actual wood. So I ended up using the spar urethane, which, yeah, it was not the best smelling thing, hence why I'm wearing the mask. This stuff is not good for you, but man, it really made this this wood pop. Like the color and just the shine that came out of it. Yeah, I was really impressed with this product, and it gave it that durability. It's oil based, so it should be water repellent. It's not like immune to water, but it definitely helps a lot to prevent any moisture from getting into the wood.
Boom! That's how it should be. That's smooth. That's smooth. Yes! Yes! Nice.
One of the final things I set out to do was adding the handles for the drawer, because obviously we got to pull it out somehow, right? So after probably the first time the drawer slides got jammed, I was getting a lot less motivated in this project, and I was starting to cut corners. But here, I really just dialed it in and made sure that my measurements were right and everything was perfectly centered and square, because I was so close to finally finishing. So let's just finish strong. All of the different wood and metal and material that went into this box ended up making it pretty heavy. So I also decided to add a handle on the back side of this drawer. Now obviously you can't, pull anything out from this side because it's just the back of the box, but it came in really handy and will come in really handy for whenever the box needs to be placed into the truck bed or removed from it. So the idea is one person can hold the front because it's just locked in with that little lock to the drawer side, so the drawer won't slip out, and the other guy can hold the back. And then the two of you together, you can just carry it out and in without a problem. Boom. Yeah, so it's at a decent spot now. I'm okay with where it's at, but there's a couple things that definitely need to be added. First off, I want to add some magnets to this so it stays in place here. I noticed some people online will do the little locks, but I don't really like that. I think it would just be nicer if it's just a nice magnet in and out like that. But yeah, this all works. It's nice. It's ridiculously long, but it's very smooth, and I'm really happy with how it came out. It smells really good. This varnish kind of thing I put on it smells good. I don't know if that's a good thing. Like I said, there's a couple things I definitely need to add to this. Magnets is one of them, but first and foremost, I need to secure this in the bed somehow, because when I was testing it without the varnish on it, it was pretty grippy, like the maple on its own. But now that I added this varnish, it slides all over the place, which is not good. It's really not good. Most people would just drill something into the bed and just lock it in that way, but I really want to avoid that. I want to make this into something that I can just take in and out super easy, and there's no modifications to the actual bed. So my idea is to somehow utilize this hook and the hook back there. I was thinking I could do another eye hook out the side here and there, and then a rod that connects those up top. But we'll see. Maybe I'll think of something else. That's step number one. And then step two, probably add some magnets to this. And then I would like to add another platform on top. This is kind of a big one, but another platform on top that would fold out and create a whole smooth platform like that. That way the entire bed is covered. It could technically act like a tonneau cover if I'm parked, and I could stash stuff in there and in here. But also, if I'm sleeping in here with my girlfriend or one of my friends or something, there's two equal spots for us on top. And if it's just me, I have it folded up. I could sleep here. I already measured, I fit here comfortably. And I have a little extra headroom, and I could, use this as a little table or store my stuff on top. I'd like to also convert part of this to maybe a kitchen or something. But I still would like actual storage space in here. But I didn't just do that right off the bat. I noticed People on the internet that build these, they just kind of go gun-ho and they just build like the ultimate camper setup. I want to use it and just see what I really need for my use case. And I think a little kitchenette would be nice. So maybe I'd use like a third of this and just have like a stove. Maybe there'd be room for like a cooler in here, or like a little cutout for like one of those sinks, that rubber sinks that you can like pop down and pull down like that. Maybe have like a water jug that's cut through. I don't know. That's not as important. I just need to really secure this and do that other stuff. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Stay tuned. I'll slowly try to keep on improving this. Hopefully in 2025 actually go out and do some camping in this. Take care.